What's up, guys? So this is the video of the 2025 last annual Ball State. 314 miles or 500K through Tennessee. First thing, almost all of the videos, pictures, and stuff was taken off of the Vol State Facebook page. I know there were multiple different people who contributed to those pictures on that page. So I want to thank them for putting it up there, because I had something in mind when I was doing it, so I really wasn't paying much attention to videoing. I was trying to go as fast as I possibly could, and for the most part it went well. We'll just kind of go through it as we go, but I want to thank those people for putting up videos and pictures. I know like Carl had a video, a couple of the Road Angels had videos and pictures, along with a photographer was out there, took pictures too. So all that is much appreciated, because it documented things that I wouldn't have been able to document myself, because I was very focused on what I was doing. All right, so next thing, I want to thank all the Road Angels. This book you see in the previous picture is very common in Road Angel stations, where you sign a book or a notebook or something, where you sign it and let them know there. There's a lot of the Road Angels are very invested to see if you make it to the rock or not. So there were multiple of those. I tried to sign all of them that I saw, but I'm sure that I missed some. But this is my way of saying thank you to every Road Angel out there. You guys make the experience so much deeper than it would be without it. And I have done HOTS. It's a totally different experience than Ball State, and that Road Angel experience is very unique, and I love the way the community has come around that run, and the people that run it, and the people that live on the course. It's a phenomenal thing. It restores your faith in humanity. It restores your faith in people. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So this previous picture is at Dresden Farmers Market, which is a Road Angel stop that's been there for years and years and years. It's right, almost basically right on the course. It's a little off, but that picture is with Shauna, who helps put on that Road Angel station. Also, my good friend Ben is there, and it was good to see them. I hadn't seen them in a couple of years, so I was very happy to see them. The other runner with me is Christine, or Chris, and she and I ran together most of the day that day, and then a little bit of the night before. I wasn't feeling good, and I told her to go on, and she bounced in front of me almost the entire way till the very end, and when she finished second overall. So good for her. Her first experience. I am sure that she took a lot from it. I know she was very thankful for the things that I told her about. I'm sure that I helped her a lot, and it kind of was the way of this Fall State. There were not a lot of veterans in the field this year, 30-ish out of 130 people. So the rookies, if they were around a veteran, and I know many cases I saw like 4 or 5 rookies running with a veteran, it definitely enhances your experience and helps you get through the thing. If you're going to be a first timer, I would really recommend you find a veteran to run with, at least for part of the time. It doesn't have to be all the time. Their experience and value in those things is massive. And I can speak for experience on that, because it was the case for me my first time. All right, that previous picture is not mine. Somebody put it on Facebook. But you see a lot of that when you're running at night, where your eyes kind of play tricks on you. You see things in the bushes, you see things at houses that just really aren't there. So you kind of you either get used to it or you freak out all the time. But a very cool photo, backlit by probably security light. But just running at night, things you see at night, and things that your eyes and your mind play tricks on you. You just have to get used to it, and you get really good at it. All right, this is me coming into a Road Angel stop. This is probably right around, day 1.5, maybe slightly more into the afternoon, maybe, yeah, about 1 o'clock I got into this station. It's a big station, and the lady that runs it is just phenomenally nice, as most Road Angels are, but just phenomenally nice. It was there. I had about 5 miles, I think, maybe 4 miles into Parsons, somewhere in there, 3, I don't remember. It was really hot, and I was getting tired, and things had just been off. Even that night, things had just been off. I was feeling pretty good, but I could tell something was off. So from here, I went up to the hotel in Parsons and slept. Got in there, showered up, cleaned up, ate, and slept for about 3 hours. I think I took a 3-hour sleep here, and all that. Two hot days in a row. All right, this is in the river bottoms. After I slept in the hotel in Parsons, I ran down into the river bottoms, and I had ran away from a storm in Parsons, but there was one going through the river bottoms, and I got down there. There was a gas station, and this is me sitting on the island of the gas station waiting for the storm to pass, because I didn't really want to run all night with wet clothes and wet feet any more than I would normally. So there was a double rainbow in the sky, and I think I maybe sat there for like 15 minutes. And then I crossed the river and headed on out of the river bottoms, and I basically ran through the river bottoms all night and up towards Hohenwald through the night. So, it was a pretty awesome night. I felt really good, and I ran really well. Hit some Road Angel stops. Of course, there was hardly anybody out because it threw them in the middle of the night, but I certainly appreciated them. So these two pictures are from Hohenwald. This is as I'm coming into Hohenwald that morning, pretty early, right before check-in, and then the first Road Angel stop in Hohenwald, and I at that point was in 3rd place, which I was very surprised about. But again, that night had gone well, and so I was on my way to McDonald's to get some food in Hohenwald. Go on down, head into what a lot of us call the cauldron. After Hohenwald, you drop down the valley, and it is really, really bleak down there. Not a lot of houses. There are a few Road Angel stops down in that valley, but you're working your way to Hampshire, and there's a lot of exposed road. There's just no shade to be had. And I started that early in the morning, and I worked my way out of it about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was getting really, really, really hot down there.
Meat wagon was on the rim when I came out from dinner. And old Matt Barker looks like he's about the same. Way to go, man.
It's brutal out here right now.
Dude, you're doing good. Got some dinner? You gonna get some shut-eye?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna probably do a big reset on this one.
You're doing good, man.
That last 2 miles of walking, I was like,
That's always the way it is. Now you're going to get that food in, you get some sleep.
Yeah.
Ball State, baby. This is what he came for.
So here's a video that Carl took. The meat wagon had a flat, which, to be fair, I didn't even notice it had a flat when I walked up because I was so far out of it. I had gotten through Hampshire and I'd ran into Columbia that day and felt really pretty good all day. And then Columbia takes a while to get through. It's a good 10, 12 miles to get through. And after check-in that evening, I hit the wall. I mean, I hit the wall. 2 miles, and just, it took forever to do those last 2 miles. And I stopped at the convenience store and got that Coke and got that pizza. The pizza wasn't very good, but it tastes really good at the time. And then I got some sleep there, and yeah, and still things were just not quite right. Something was just off, and I still hadn't figured out what was going on. I thought maybe I was just not having a good time. I mean, I was still in third place here, but I went down and took 5 hours of sleep at that hotel, and got up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and took off. All right, those 3 pictures are kind of funny if you know some of the history of Allstate. There's, in Lewisburg, there's 2 mattresses set down on the side of the road, which there have been times in the past when people would literally just crash on those and take a nap. I was feeling pretty good. Matter of fact, I had checked in the end of 3 days. I checked in over 200, I think really close to 200 miles. So I definitely had gone past the Nut House and the Bench of Despair. Bench of Despair is kind of that point where people generally don't drop. I mean, a few do, but usually once you make it to the Bench of Despair, you're not dropping. But I felt good, got in Lewisburg. The other one is the Church of Christ on Church Street, which is kind of funny because every time I've heard Carl talk about, don't check in when you're near the first Church of Christ because there's 100 of them on the course. Well, yeah, there's the Church of Christ on Church Street in Lewisburg, which was just funny, and I sent that to him after the race just so we could laugh a little bit about it, but it was funny. But I was feeling good here. Obviously, I had good sleep and I'm still going, but things still were just not clicking the way I wanted to. And I still hadn't really put a finger on what was going on. But yeah. All right, so these 2 pictures, the first one was actually taken by Sandra, and Laz was there as they were working their way to moving the race headquarters. Saw them, and I'm still feeling good, obviously, because I was running, but still things were just off. Shortly thereafter, a guy stopped and gave me some fruit, and then there's another Road Angel stop put on by a motorsports company that I saw John Price after he'd abandoned. He was running up and down the thing. And then the second picture was taken by a photographer out there. Her watermark is on the picture. Right after I saw her, probably an hour, I got hit by a massive thunderstorm. The temperature went from probably 90 to about 75 with like 30, 40 mile an hour winds blowing at my back, thank goodness, and big, fat raindrops. I mean, they were big, smacking me. And that storm lasted for a good 40, 50 minutes because I was going with it. And it just... it finally let up by the time I got to the pit stop. I think I ran a little bit more in rain, but it was pretty much over. And then I had to stop at the Dollar General before Shelbyville and air my feet out. Still feeling pretty good, and my intention then was to roll through Shelbyville and go up and get up to Wartrace and get over to the Baileys, which is a pretty nice Road Angel stop, and get some sleep there. And I did. I didn't sleep very well there though. And then my hope was to get all the way down to the Browns, which is in Pelham, past Manchester, and get some sleep. That was the plan. And things didn't go quite like you would expect, so we'll go on down the road. All right, these two photos are taken by the same photographer that took the photos earlier. They're taken in the Hillsborough grocery / market, which when I was here last time I did the race, this was still kind of like a grocery store. They have since redone it. It's really nice inside. You've got a nice little sitting area so you can eat. They make breakfast for you there. It's really nice. And I was feeling okay, but I was still planning on getting to the Browns. At this point, I had about 9 more miles there. And yeah, the wheels fell off the bus. I went from doing, 16, 17 minute miles to, those 9 miles took me forever. Probably better than 3 hours to get down there. And I saw Mr. Brown right as I was leaving Pelham, or excuse me, right as I was leaving Hillsborough, and he told me it wasn't set up, which kind of destroyed me mentally because I was planning on getting a good nap. When I got there, there was like 6 bottles of warm water, like 2 chairs, and a couple cots set under a tree. I did take a nap. Again, wasn't a good nap. I was in the shade of a tree. It just wasn't good. And then I left there, rolled down into Pelham. Just as you're getting ready to leave, there's a church, and the skies started threatening to unleash. And I literally walked under the overhang of the church, and it just unleashed for like 30 minutes. So I got a little bit lucky and didn't get wet there, but just was not feeling good. It felt like crap, couldn't move. Took me a full hour to climb up the Mount Eagle, which is like a 5K climb. Yeah, it is slow. I got to the top. Everything hurt. I felt bad. Like I was hurting. Checked into a motel up there, got some McDonald's, laid down, felt like crap. My throat was just super sore. I've been getting sore for the last 2 days. I didn't know what was going on. Slept for a little bit, woke up, felt better, didn't really feel any better. Called Carl, moment of thing, told him I was done. And he's like, Carl. He goes, I'll check with you tomorrow. Which is what he standardly does. And I felt bad. Everything hurt. If there was a part of my body, it hurt. So I fell asleep. Woke up about 6 hours later. Realized what the hell was going on. I had a cold. I'd had a cold this whole race. I walked across the hotel parking lot, went to the convenience store, got some cold medicine, took it, slept 3 more hours. Slept 9 hours. Probably down for a good 11 hours in the hotel. Woke up, felt good. Definitely having an adventure. I don't know about fitness, but I'm definitely having. All right, so as you saw by Laz's post, I collapsed. Yeah, I went from being just a few miles behind Christine to 20 miles behind her. Yeah, it was bad. The guy was in third, the guy was in fourth. I was in third. Passed me when I was in the hotel. It was bad. Like I said, it was bad. Hindsight, I, I knew I was pushing the limits of my ability to go without sleep, going down the Browns. If I would have taken a hotel in Manchester and slept for 4 hours, I probably would have been able to finish much, much, much faster. But, decisions you make, sometimes you pay the consequences for them. Now later on, Mr. Brown got his aid station up and going, and it was great for people there, but just didn't happen to work out for me. There's no fault of his. He's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, so I'm not going to complain. I was happy to have the water because I would have probably been hurting without it. So it worked for me. So yeah, and that after I woke up, I felt great. Of course, I slept 9 hours, and the cold and the sore throat were going away. The medicine really helped. And I was motoring. I mean, I was dropping 14-minute, 13-minute miles in there. I was running in the shade. If there was a little downhill, I was running it, and just felt phenomenal. I think I had that day, I think I had an entire whopping 21 or 22 miles or something like that. It was really bad, but felt great. And in that picture of the bus and Oprah there is kind of supposed to be his AI rendering of the meat wagon with Jan behind the wheel there, but kind of funny. And but I was almost on that meat wagon, and but from there I felt great. But I slept 9 hours. Never been up here during the day. And all my other finishes have been at night. This is kind of surreal. All right, so as I said, I was feeling great running, really putting down good miles. To give you an idea, I left the hotel at I think it was like 5:15 in the morning, and I finished just before 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so a little less than 12 hours, and I put 41 miles down on day 5 and less than 12 hours. So yeah, I felt good and I was moving well. Picture of the Blue Bridge, which is very infamous. When you get to the Blue Bridge, you just got a short way to go. Now, they have changed the finish. This year was the first year of it, so nobody really knew what to expect except those that had done HOTS. It's a much less traveled road, which is good because people are tired and less chances to make a mistake and get hit by a car. But the downside of that is there's definitely more climbing on it, and the climb up Sand Mountain is about a mile longer, not nearly as steep, but you're still going up for an extra mile, so it was pretty tough. When I got to the top, I was there during daylight. So in Bryant, there's a little small market at a gas station that's open from probably 5 a.m. to 9. They were closing early that day. I actually got there half hour before they closed, and I knew I was going to finish. There was no way that anybody was going to pass me. I wasn't catching the guy in front of me because when I checked in that morning, he had 12 miles on me. I might have made up 2 of that, maybe 3 max. He's still moving fairly well, obviously. So I stopped up there. I got some water. And I got an ice cream bar, and I sat out in front of that place, and I ate that ice cream bar, and just made a mental note to enjoy those last 4 miles because I had done something I had never done. I was going to finish well under 5.5 days in the daylight, which I've never done, and I just made a mental note to enjoy every second of it, and I did. Look where I'm at.
Yeah.
Being in the dark.
Dang, that's a good camera.
Thank you.
You got the book? Okay. He's done. He didn't waste any time touching the rock.
Nice in the daylight.
How many times you finished in the dark?
Twice. Thank you.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. So, I did finish 5 days, 9 hours, and 50-ish minutes. About 9 hours faster than I've ever finished before. And I made some mistakes. I fully think I could go under 5 days there. And the fourth place was just a bonus. It was never on my radar of things to do. I was just trying to go as fast as I could. And, you know, first of all, being a little bit under the weather with a cold and not realizing it, probably, you know, I probably would have changed things, how I was doing things a little bit if I hadn't thought about it or realized it beforehand. And I also learned a couple things in this fall state. Probably the biggest thing is that I can sleep more than I have when I stop. Instead of getting 3, which was pretty standard for me, I get 3 hours of sleep and move on. I can do 4 or 4.5. And then the benefit of that is I give up an hour, hour and a half, but I can move for 5, maybe 6 hours more very efficiently before everything hits me. And that was this time with having a cold and just things not being quite what they should be. So I think when I do another one of these journey runs, which I'm sure that I will sleep a little longer when I get a hotel and try to move faster as I go. See if I can't maximize my downtime and all that. Definitely worked for me. Not saying it's going to work for everybody. I know people can catnap their way through it. I cannot do that. Doesn't work for me. So anyway, things I learned. Next video is the shoes I wore. We had a debate online about it. I wore trail shoes. I've worn trail shoes the last 2 times. They worked really well for me on the trail on the bottom. I have very narrow heels, so I'm going to have to probably tape my heels because I got a couple blisters on my heels. And that's mostly just because my feet swell and the humidity and the wetness, just, you know, that long rubbing. I got blisters on both heels and they weren't bad. I mean, once I taped them, they were fine, but they were a little bit painful. So I think next time I will pre-tape them so I don't have that issue. But otherwise, other than just being under the weather, when the wheels came off, it's a really good Vol State. You know, I can't complain. I would have liked to have gone about 9 hours faster, but yeah, you on Vol State, you take what the course, the weather, and your body gives you, and it's never going to be the same. The course changes a little bit based on where Road Angels are. You know, like the school that normally is open wasn't open this year. Mr. Brown not being set up. Those are things you can't control. So that's just the course. The weather, you know, I got pounded by a storm, but it was hot and humid every day. I'm pretty sure the first 2 days the heat index was like 105 to 109. It was rough. And then your body, you know, you can't control that you were around a bunch of people for a couple of days and got a little cold, or those are things you just can't control, and you gotta take what your body gives you and deal with it. So it's there, maybe someday. All right, we were having a discussion on internet about trail shoes and will they hold up? And these are Ultras, and they are I forget what they are exactly, but I've used this second pair of Ultras. I've used, and you can see right there where one spot wore through the rubber. There's obviously no lugs back here. A little bit of lugs in the middle. Up front, this is very, very smooth until we get to the front, very front. So on this one, you got almost the same thing. Obviously, I strike a little different on this side, and same thing up front, where it's very smooth until the outer. Same. And this one's over here is a little more worn even than this one. Would explain why I got some use injuries on that side. Up front, they held together pretty well. The heel actually held together pretty well in there. You got a little bit of down there that wore through. And on this one, you got the same thing, heel held together, and doesn't look like there's anything in the back of that one. I did do a little surgery, but that's not the shoe's fault. That was my feet swelling fault.